Okay, this is my trading views chart, and if you don't have trading views, you can't do this. I buy some overlays, and that gives me this Bollinger Band, and it also gives me that violet line that you see in there, and that is key. This happens to be Meta, and as you can see, Meta does well when it's above the violet line. If it gets two green bars above the violet line, it becomes a buy. On the other hand, if it gets two red bars below the violet line, you need to get out of it. And that was proven right here. Two red bars below, let's sell. And at that point, Meta becomes a depressed stock. And it will remain a depressed stock until it gets two green bars above the violet line. Now, this is a weekly chart. And as you can see, if we adhere to that, we're going to make money, and we're going to make a lot of money. But look right here. We got a decision to make, and it's going to be made next week. Is Meta going to give me two bars, red bars, underneath the violet line? If so, we got to sell, okay? And it's that simple. Now, does that hold true? Let's look at Apple and follow the same path. When Apple gave us two green bars above back in March of 2019, it turned into a stock we wanted to hold. And then at the pandemic, it gave us two bars below and we needed to get out. But then in April, it gave us two bars up and we went on a ride, okay? We had some blips where we got in and out, but we went on a ride. And then Apple gave us a signal. Two bars below, we get out. Two bars above, we get in. Two bars below, we get out. Right now, we're out of Apple because Apple is a depressed stock, probably because it is not reacting or giving us a direction relative to AI. Let's see if this holds true in other stocks. I want to look at Amazon. Amazon told us way back, let's go back to the pandemic, that we needed to get in here, we needed to get out, and then it gave us a very dramatic signal. It's time to ride Amazon up. We had some times when we get out, but for the most part, we stay in. And then Amazon in December of 2021 had some bad earnings figures, and Amazon became a depressed stock. Had some opportunities to pick up a little money, but on the basic trend of that violet line was down, and so it was a depressed stock. As I said, depressed stocks don't have to come with a pandemic. They come with bad financial reporting and opportunities. Then we see that Amazon becomes again a growth stock, has a little bit of a turn down, and again, it is sitting in a growth posture. Now let's look at one that we all believe is the gift from God, or Jensen Huang, whichever. And probably, unless you were a gamer, you didn't know much about Nvidia until somewhere back down here in 2023 when they started making some noise. And if you had got in at $148, which was kind of where I got in, and you followed this violet line, you might have gotten out. You would have gotten a signal here to get out at 406 and then to get back in at 456, and you'd be in today. Where is Nvidia going from here? Well, indications are it's consolidating. As you can see, it's going to form a triangle, probably in the next, again, this is a weekly chart, but it's still above the violet line, so we need to stay in, okay? Another one I think that gives us some good indication is Google. Has Google ever been a depressed stock? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Google became a depressed stock back in January of 2022. And it depressed from, what would it be, 144 down to 86, 89. But it signaled us in March of 2023 we need to get back in. It gave us a temporary blip below, but we didn't get two bars below, and we stayed in. Here, we only got 1 bar below. We stayed in, and we're probably still in Google because it is running ahead of the violet line. But what I want you to understand is there are opportunities to make money if you then get into a stock and understand that stock and understand why it's a depressed stock. This is one of my favorite depressed stocks because it's really depressed. This is Aehr. They make the equipment that tests the wafers over at Samsung and Aehr and other foundries to make sure that the transistors on the wafer are functioning properly. And as you see, as we moved away from EVs in roughly October of 2023, they became a depressed stock, a very depressed stock. They had a high of 53 and they're down to 11. So they lost about 80% of their value. Is this an opportunity? Well, it will be confirmed an opportunity when these green lines cross that violet line. Now, I happen to know that Aehr's biggest customer is this company. This is ON. This is ON Semiconductor. As you can see, it had a bounce around up and down, and then it, like Aehr, started turning down, and our violet line turned down in October of 23, and has given us some bounce ups, but not really a lot of confirmation. But look what's happening right here. If in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, next month, that line crosses that line, the violet line, we've got a turnaround from a depressed stock to a growth stock. There are several others that I have on my watch list to make this turn. This is Skywater Technologies, and as you can see, it took a tremendous dive. Again, this is a small semiconductor company, had a bit of a run up, had a down, and now it has, for the first time, given us a 1 green bar above the violet line. So in the next 2 weeks, we will possibly get a signal that it's going up. Now, it could be a false signal as we got here and as we got here, but this is how you find the depressed stocks. And as I said, they don't have to be some small stock. Let me show you one again that you know that we can learn from. That's Meta. Okay? Meta was, we know that Meta back in 2021 laid off a lot of people, said they were changing the way they were doing business, and it became a depressed stock. And it remained a depressed stock until January of 2023 when it turned and went in the other direction. Now, it just had its earnings this last week and indicated it was going to be spending a buttload of money on GPUs, and it was going to be laying off some people, and so their CapEx was going to grow, and it came down and it crossed our violet line. And then to this week, it gave us a confirmation that it's below. Next week, we will learn, is Meta going to go back on its path of a growth stock, or is it going to be a depressed stock? Because again, what we know is if it goes depressed, it's going to go down and then give us a buying opportunity. So there's 2 ways, as I said, Homer, to make exponential growth in a stock. One is to discover the next 15-cent hamburger, and I told you about SoundHound yesterday. And if you come to my cheat sheet, you'll see there are several others that I'm tracking that are going to be what I call my rocket stocks. And then, as I say, the second opportunity is a depressed stock. And what we're going to learn in the next 2 weeks, is Meta a depressed stock or is it a growth opportunity? It's all right here. Is it that simple? Yeah. And understand, it hasn't always been this simple because we haven't always had access to the data. I pay for this data. I pay for trading views. I pay for the plug-in, the VT community algo. I pay a monthly fee for that so that I can look at the data, not only the financials, but the technical data, and that's what I'm looking at right here, to give me signals to make good investment decisions. And then I take these signals and I transfer them to my website on my cheat sheet and say, okay, what should we do with Meta next week? We'll learn next week by what appears right there. And then is this going to turn and go down, or is it going to proceed up? Based on that, we can make a good investment decision. And understand, I didn't know this a year ago. Mark taught me this. He's our swing trading expert. And he showed me this. And I said, that makes total sense. All I have to do is follow the violet line, and I can make a better investment decision. I want you to have that opportunity. Now, if you don't have the time, this takes 8 hours a day to keep up with this. If you don't have the time, then come get on the bus. We have a very minor fee. It's $60 a month, but I'll feed you this information through my cheat sheet on my website. I'll feed you this information on my stock alerts, what I'm buying and what I'm selling. You will get a text or a email every day when I buy or sell something. And then you'll come to our stock talks where we bring people together and we talk about this and we explore it deeper. And you say, can you open that chart up again? And I go and share the chart again, and we talk about it, and we understand it. And it's basic education. And if you don't have the time to get that education, then come share with our community. Best of Us investors, you need to be on the Platinum program, and you, like I, will learn next week, is Meta a growth stock, or is it going to be a depressed stock? Let's find out next week. I hope that's helpful. This is what I want to do for you. It's your choice from here.